When I was a graduate student in computer science in the early 2000s, computers were barely able to detect sharp edges in photographs, let alone recognize something as loosely defined as a human face. When I climb into my car, I enter my destination into a GPS device, whose spatial memory supplants my own. I have photographs to store the images I want to remember, books to store knowledge, and now, thanks to Google, I rarely have to remember anything more than the right set of search terms to access humankind's collective memory. One of the most cherished photographs in my life is a picture of me with John Lennon, who I met back in 1971 at an anti-war rally. My great-grandfather was in the army in India, and we have photographs of my family there in full Victorian dress. They're incredibly romantic. If I feel confident wearing something, I think it translates in photographs. It changes my demeanor and posture. I like photographs which leave something to the imagination. I've done a couple of conferences where you sit and sign autographs for people, and then you have photographs taken with them, and a lot of them all dressed up in alien suits or Doctor Who whatevers. I was terrified of doing it because I thought they'd all be loonies, but they are absolutely, totally charming as anything. It's great fun. When I came to Mumbai, my Rocky brother Vivek Jain showed my portfolio to the producer of Bidai, Rajan Shahi. He liked my photographs and asked me to join the serial at the earliest. My photographs are not planned or composed in advance, and I do not anticipate that the onlooker will share my viewpoint. However, I feel that if my photograph leaves an image on his mind, something has been accomplished. Something happens between a novel and its reader which is similar to the process of developing photographs, the way they did it before the digital age. The photograph, as it was printed in the darkroom, became visible bit by bit. As you read your way through a novel, the same chemical process takes place. Sepia in particular tends to make everything look a bit romantic and almost sentimental, hence the fact that it remains such a popular choice for wedding photographs. I knew from the first moment I picked up a camera, on my first school assignment, what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I was going to find a way to travel the world and tell the stories of the people I met through photographs. I started collecting aerial photographs of Native American and South Pacific architecture. Only the African ones were fractal. And if you think about it, all these different societies have different geometric design themes that they use. So Native Americans use a combination of circular symmetry and fourfold symmetry. As photographs give people an imaginary possession of a past that is unreal, they also help people to take possession of space in which they are insecure. One study found that people who smile in childhood photographs are less likely to get a divorce. My photographs don't do me justice, they just look like me. Lieberman said to me, I must cut back on the work you do for Vogue. The editors don't like it. They say the photographs burn on the page. After some years, I began to understand that what they wanted of me was simply a nice, sweet, clean-looking image of a lovely young woman. A wiretap allows government agents to collect, listen to, read, rifle through and store emails, snail mail, phone calls, text messages, photographs, bank records, you name it. Our dreams are made of real things, like a shoebox full of photographs. My eyes are at different levels, and my right ear's a bit bigger than my left, which showed up particularly in school photographs, so my mother used to call me her little Picasso. I paint mostly from real life. It has to start with that. Real people, real street scenes, behind-the-curtain scenes, live models, paintings, photographs, staged setups, architecture, grids, graphic design. Whatever it takes to make it work. To take a photograph is to participate in another person's mortality, vulnerability, mutability. Precisely by slicing out this moment and freezing it, all photographs testify to time's relentless melt. In 1965, I was in Trabzon in eastern Turkey on a Fulbright scholarship. I would get up every morning and walk around the streets and look for photographs. Potato chip news is news that's repetitive, requires little effort to absorb, and is consumable in massive quantities. True crime, natural disasters, political punditry, celebrity gossip, sports gossip, or endless photographs of beautiful houses, food, or clothes. Not everybody trusts paintings, but people believe photographs. People taking photographs of their meals are not critics, they are from the United States. Putin himself is a character out of fiction, an uber-macho former Soviet thug running a massive, expansionist kleptocracy. The man stages photographs riding horses bare-chested and hunting tigers. His enemies find themselves on the wrong end of radioactive poisoning. I gave up my struggle with perfection a long time ago. That is a concept I don't find very interesting anymore. Everyone just wants to look good in the photographs. I think that is where some of the pressure comes from. Be happy, be yourself, the day is about a lot more. I think people are more apt to believe photographs, especially if it's something fantastic. They're willing to be more gullible. Sometimes they want fantasy. I ask people why they have deer heads on their walls. They always say because it's such a beautiful animal. There you go. I think my mother is attractive, but I have photographs of her. From taking photographs of George and Charlotte, I have been struck by the wonderful lack of self-consciousness that you see in photographs of children, without the self-awareness that adults generally feel. A close friend of mine, Annie Leibovitz, who I've known for 40 years, photographs celebrities every single day of the week, but they all seem to look the same even though she's one of the most creative photographers alive. They all just look the same. Brad Pitt is a great actor, but all the pictures of Brad Pitt look the same. I have been told that some of my photographs maybe indicate that I am a painter. In so many instances, there has been an attempt to rewrite history, and many times, on photographs, Martin and I were marching together, hand in hand. They cropped the photographs and left me out. I want adventure in my life. I want to do things I haven't done before. These Hollywood people are so careful of their image and looking right, but there's a wildness when I come into the photographs. I just want to wade through rivers, climb mountains. The ostensible subject of my photographs may be motion, but the subtext is time. A dancer's movements illustrate the passage of time, giving it a substance, materiality, and space. In my photographs, time is stopped, a split second becomes an eternity, and an ephemeral moment is solid as sculpture. All photographs are accurate. None of them is the truth. In this first testing ground of the atomic bomb I have seen the most terrible and frightening desolation in 4 years of war. It makes a blitzed Pacific island seem like an Eden. The damage is far greater than photographs can show. I have a vision of life, and I try to find equivalents for it in the form of photographs. I always say that I don't want to be sentimental, that the photographs shouldn't be sentimental, and yet, I am conscious of my sentimentality. Photographers must learn not to be ashamed to have their photographs look like photographs. You can easily take photographs at a wedding, no one would question it, but funerals are different. Seeing is no longer believing. The very notion of truth has been put into crisis. In a world bloated with images, we are finally learning that photographs do indeed lie. The thing is, when you take photographs, you meet a lot of people but you don't actually know anybody. It is very quick, in and out, in a concentrated way. Sex is not a subject in my photographs, or would only be if it had to do with romance, sometimes vulnerability. The photographs are quite clearly about happiness, or search for happiness. Archaeologists gave the military the idea to use aerial photographs for spying and field survey. We are fortunate that the spatial and spectral resolutions of the imagery available to us are so broadly useful for archaeology. When words become unclear, I shall focus with photographs. When images become inadequate, I shall be content with silence. I like to undress women, not to dress them. You know, like Manet's Olympia or Helmut Newton's photographs, naked women with shoes. This is what I am trying to do. It is proper to take photographs or other kinds of pictures of persons to put them before us for sight or remembrance. But it is improper to make pictures and images of God and to take his likenesses therefrom to his great distortion. I'll take photographs with kids, people who want to take photographs with me, people who like the movies, people who supported me. I'll do that all day, all night, that's fine. But the bombardment of the paparazzi is just, I truly don't understand. It just feels like this kind of gluttonous, horrific sport. It's like sport. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.